Hi, my name is Javier, and I'll be playing the role of the instructor.
Hi, I'm Simi. My role here today is the student. So, this video, I want to expand upon how to use a deaf interpreter with a team of hearing interpreters through Zoom. There are different requirements for that process to go smoothly. So, for starters, you have to have two different devices. Maybe you can use a laptop, a cell phone, or a laptop and a tablet. Anything you have that is capable of using Zoom, but it's important to have them separate because the first group will have the classroom and the teacher or the meeting or whatever event that you'll be attending. There will be an interpreter in there. And then on your second device, you're going to have a specific place just for the interpreters. For example, I'm using for this classroom my laptop computer, and for my second device, I'm using the iPad for the interpreting team. There's my interpreting team. That's how the process is going to go. So for using the interpreter, it's really important for communication with the person who is hosting this event. So you need to communicate with the teacher about how to use an interpreter and all the various things involved. It's important that you suggest to the teacher or the event coordinator to give all of the interpreters the ability to have co-host. That way they can manage Spotlight by themselves. So that way they can use it when the interpreters switch at the right time for smooth communication. For this specific event, we're going to go ahead and use the classroom setting. We're going to have Javier as the teacher, and he will be using PowerPoint. And then you guys are going to be able to see how the deaf interpreters and the hearing interpreter team will work. Go ahead, Javier.
Hi, class. Welcome to today's lecture about my favorite topic, Disneyland. So, from this slide, really, the point that I want to emphasize is the third one. On opening day, Walt Disney had to choose between having drinking fountains or bathrooms. He opened it Disneyland way too soon, so he had to make a decision either to have water available for their guests or a place to go potty, which I think is really funny. On this next slide, pretty much it talks about important dates. So on July 21st, 1954, the ground was broken in Anaheim, California. Guys, almost less than a year, well, yeah, less than a year that from nothing he created Disneyland. Whew. On July 17, 1955, Disneyland opened to invited guests. But in reality, it was way more because those invited guests made copies of the invitation and sold them and given out. And so there was a lot of people wanting to go inside the park. On July 18, 1955, Disneyland is open to the public. The original admission price was $1. The cost of rides was 10 cents to 35 cents, meaning you had to pay to enter the park and you had to pay to ride the attraction. Woo! Here's a crazy fact. On September 8th, 1955, Disneyland has its 1 millionth guest. Less than 2 months, the 1 million person entered the park. Wow. This is this slide really, I just really want to focus on the second point. So Walt opened the doors too soon, and Disneyland had its malfunctions, meaning the rides broke down, rides had to close down for the television crew. This is a funny fact. The freshly poured asphalt was not set yet, and many women wearing high heels lost their shoe. Oh my goodness, imagine losing your shoes. Whew. Many reporters said that Disneyland was overpriced and that it would close down soon to the malfunctions and price. And we're still here. For this point, really, I just want to focus on the second. So in 1964, Disneyland makes more money than Disney films. So in Disney history, the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s were kind of dark for Disney films. They weren't making as much money. So thankfully, he had the amusement park. And then sadly, in 1966, Walt Disney passed away due to cancer. And then in 1982, Disneyland stopped using their ticket books, so meaning you didn't have to pay for each attraction that you rode. So he introduced the passport, good for all rides, any number of times during the day. In 1985, the park is open year-round, so you can go on Christmas, New Year's, Halloween. And then in 1999, the Fast Pass is introduced. Ooh. Does any student have any questions?
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, perfect. Let me stop the PowerPoint.
So that interpreting had me as the deaf interpreter, and then we were using the second device, and it was really beneficial. It really helps with communication and the flow of everything, and the deaf client who will need more of an ASL interpretation. It's important to have two devices. But you need to have your own Zoom link as well. The link for the event, and then maybe your team of 2 interpreters, they will need to have a Zoom link as well, a separate one. So you need to join that one with your interpreting team. And sometimes it'll require 2 interpreters. It depends on if the event is typically long or if it's more short. If it is longer, there will be 3 interpreters, 2 hearing and 1 deaf. And it will have 3 little boxes, 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom. And so the way you would handle that is you would decide who will be feeding the deaf interpreter first, will have their video on, and the other interpreter will have their video off so the deaf interpreter can focus on the interpreter who is feeding them. So for example, I have my interpreter on the tablet, and so then on it, it says something that I can click on. It has 2 little boxes right here where you can see the team and myself. You can click where it says switch to speaker view. And so that will cause one of the screens to be on your full screen. And then you will see yourself in a small little box there on the bottom. And so on yourself, your little box, you can click on a little icon. It looks like a minus, and then that will remove your box so you can see the interpreter on the full screen. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. I will help to support you guys and figure out how to work with a DI for the communication needs of the client. Thank you, Javier, for going ahead and hosting this and playing the role for the teacher today. Thank you for seeing me for playing the role as a student. And then our second interpreter, Brianna. Thank you for voicing for all of the deaf people here. I hope you guys learned something and you can use the DI for a future classroom or a meeting.